How to start new with an ex.
Well, typically in getting the ex back situation, because I'd say probably 90% of the guys that come to me, they're in that situation. They were dating a girl that they really liked. Maybe it was their girlfriend, maybe it was their wife, maybe they were married and they got served with divorce papers out of the blue. Or they were dating a girl for a few weeks or a month or so, and she ended up getting back together with somebody else or dating somebody that was more serious. And 99% of the time, it's like when these guys come to me and they tell me what they've been doing, what they've been saying, they've displayed a lot of unattractive behavior to the point where the woman doesn't want to go out with them. Oftentimes, they get to the point where the woman has just kind of ghosted them and taken her time to reply, or she doesn't reply at all.
Hmm.
And they've over pursued to the point where she's gotten so turned off that she doesn't even want to talk to them, doesn't return their call or anything,
Hmm.
or it takes a long time to get back to them. And in that case, you have to back off and you just let the girl be. And sometimes she comes back. And so if you were dating for a while, what typically happens, it takes time for a woman to fall in love. Typically about 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks is if we're dealing with a normal healthy woman and not some fucking Fruit Loop, but a normal healthy woman, if you're applying what's in the book, will be in love by week 6, week 7 typically. And then they'll be bringing up the exclusivity talk. So if it takes about 2 months on average for a woman to fall in love, it's also going to take time for her to fall out of love. And so, say you dated for a year or two or 6 months, whatever it happens to be, and she went from being really hot for you and always, oh, my schedule's wide open for you, to, oh, work's been crazy. I just can't find any time right now. When you see that kind of stuff, then you let her be. And so what's happened is she fell in love, her interest went up, and then it just starts to go down to the point where she doesn't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah.
And then when you walk away and you go no contact, the reason you're doing that is because you're trying to spend time with her. You're trying to fix your relationship. You're trying to put things together, but you can't fix anything unless both people, especially her,
Hmm.
are open to it. Both people have to be ready, willing, able, and open to fixing their relationship.
Yeah.
And until the woman gets there, until it's her idea, it's an uphill battle. Especially if you pursue to the point where she's just like ignoring you, then
Hmm.
there's nothing you can do at that point. And so when you let her be, and then you move on with your life, and you start dating and meeting new women and having fun, and having the attitude of, hey, well, she didn't want to be with me. She didn't have enthusiasm, so it hurts. It sucks. It stings because I really like the girl, but I want to find somebody that's excited to be with me. And then the next girl, because they read the book more, they get better, their skills improve. They're reading the book and they're actually applying it. And they're dating girls, they're getting better at seducing women on dates, getting better at being on a date and displaying attractive behavior consistently.
Yeah.
That when the ex does reach out after a couple of months or a few weeks, whatever it happens to be, she gets a different version of this guy, an improved, an enhanced, and more masculine version.
Hmm.
And that will cause her to feel more attraction, but it's still a process.
Hmm.
It takes time for her to fall out of love, and then it's going to take time for her to fall back in love. And so, as I say in my book, a man's job in the courtship really is just to create an opportunity for sex to happen, to hang out, have fun while you're hanging out, and then hook up when the signs are there that she's ready to be touched, ready to be kissed, and you seduce her. And if she's rejected you and broken it off with you, whoever fucked it up is the one that's got to fix it. And so if she pushed you away to the point where she just started ignoring you, then when she does start coming back, she's got to do 100% of the pursuing, 100% of the calling, the texting, pursuing, because again, she's the one that unilaterally said, you're out. I don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
And so if she's told you that or pushed you away, or I just only think of you as being friends, you're like, hey, I'm not interested in friendship. It's sex and romance, or I wish you all the best. I'm
Hmm.
not interested in being your gay male girlfriend or your emotional tampon. I'm not down with that. I don't want to
Yeah.
hang out with you after everything we've shared and done to each other. And I'm going to sit there with my hands to myself and we're just going to talk. I'm going to be like your gay male girlfriend and you're going to tell me about dudes you're dating and sleeping with. It's like, I'm not going to do that. It's like, I want you. That's why I'm here. And if you don't feel the same way, that sucks. But hey, I want somebody that's excited to be here and is interested in sex and romance.
Hmm.
And so the guy just has to create the next opportunity for sex to happen. And so what happens when the woman starts coming back, and usually if it's been a few weeks or a few months, you get, hey, how you been? I've been thinking about you. What have you been up to?
Hmm.
Usually something like that. She doesn't say, hey, let's get back together. She's like, hey. And as the book says, if a woman's reaching out, you should assume she wants to see you and then
Mhm.
make a date. And in this case, just like following the script that's out of Seven Principles to Get an Ex Back, the article and video that I did years ago for those situations, is that you invite her over to your place to make dinner together because she rejected you, and especially when she's trying to keep you in friend zone. That's the reason why you do a date in the evening to make dinner at your place, is because women know that if they're coming over to your house, to an ex-boyfriend's house that they've already been intimate with in the past, to make dinner together in the evening, that sex is on the table. They know, you guys know, that he's interested in romance. He's not interested in making dinner together in the evening so you can share yoga routines or cookie recipes.
Mhm.
And women that are just trying to keep a guy in backup zone or just trying to test the waters and see if he's still potentially a backup, if things don't look good with somebody else, then she will not want to come over. She'll say, let's go to lunch, or let's meet for coffee,
Mhm.
or let's meet on neutral ground, or let's do a group date with our friends.
Yeah.
And what she's doing is basically putting cock blockers or clam slammers, if it's her female girlfriends, to get in the way of any kind of hanky panky or any kind of seduction happening. And that's her way of communicating that I'm not really interested in sex and romance.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, a woman starts to feel attraction again because she hasn't heard from the guy in a few months. And then she hears through the grapevine that, oh my God, you should have seen who Corey was out with the other night. This girl was so beautiful and they were all over each other.
Mhm.
And that gets back to her. And then she starts, the guy she blew off and didn't give a fuck about. And now she's like, he's out with a girl that's potentially prettier than me.
Mhm.
And then something changes in there. It's like you guys like men more if they're popular with other women, especially when you've rejected and blown the guy off. And then you see him with somebody even prettier and hotter than you are. It changes how women interact, and then they start pursuing. But the guy got rejected because he over pursued, and so you have to let her come to you at her pace. That's why she's got to do all the pursuing. And so you make dates in the evening at your place to make dinner together that can lead to sex. And so what I always teach is if she comes over 3 dates in a row in the evening, and this is where she's reached out to you first, and you hang out, you have fun, you hook up. If she comes over 3 times in a row, it shows she's submissive, it shows she's flexible, and it also shows that she's interested in sex and romance as well. And then after that third date, the next time she reaches out and is like, hey, what have you been doing? The other night was amazing. All these feelings are coming back. I can't believe this is happening. It's like I never expected to feel this way about you again. I always thought it would never go beyond friendship. You hear things like that. And then you just make the next date. And then what happens is she slowly falls back in love and then will bring up being exclusive. And where guys get themselves into trouble when that starts to happen is they want to speed it up. So they start calling and they start texting and trying to compress the timeline, trying to get her to the point where she's in love quicker.
Mhm.
And with the ladies and how their feelings and emotions work, is that you guys take time. And so, therefore, if it's her idea, if she's the one calling you, and over several weeks and a month or so, she recognizes that every time she reaches out, you're making a date and you guys end up having great sex and intimacy and a good time together, then what happens is the time in between her reaching out and you seeing each other gets shorter and shorter and shorter until once again she's pretty much over at your house every night. And then she takes over your bathroom and your closets and your drawers and everything again, and her shoes and her shit are everywhere. And that's what happens. It's a slow process. So you have to let women come to you at their pace. Because when you try to rush it, you try to force it quicker than they're ready, they're going to bounce on you because they feel like they're losing their freedom. And as Thich Nhat Hanh said, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free.